Good evening and welcome to the Guilderland Central School District's Board of Education meeting. Today is May 6, 2025. Can everyone please silence their cell phones and stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, and we will begin with our high school student rep, Parth.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for your time. My name is Parth Surecha, and I'm one of the student representatives to the Board of Education. It's such an honor to be here tonight. Our other board rep, Levin, wasn't able to make it in today because he's studying for his AP exam tomorrow, so good luck to him. Which brings me into my first thing, and definitely the least exciting thing for tonight, is that we're in the heat of the AP exam season. So any student who's enrolled in an AP class will be taking the AP exam throughout this week and next week. And they're very, very influential and important exams because the score that a student receives on them could determine whether or not a college gives them college credit for taking that class or not. So to any student who's taking that AP exam this week or next week, good luck. And also a little different with the AP exam this year is that this is the first year the AP exam is going completely online and digital through the digital testing app Blue Book, which is also used for the SAT. So students should really, really make sure that they can get into Blue Book, because if they can't get into Blue Book on the day of the exam, then they're forfeiting their right to take the exam and they receive no score, even after having paid for the exam. Next up, it's very, very hard to believe that we're already almost halfway through the fourth quarter. So students should be making sure they're staying on top of their assignments because this is a very, very busy time of year, what with all the exams going on and all the events and activities. So students should just make sure that they're staying on top of their assignments so that they don't have it lingering over their heads later on. And speaking of events and activities, junior prom and senior ball are very, very fast approaching, with senior ball being on May 30th and junior prom being this Saturday, May 10th. I'm very, very excited to see what junior prom is like because I'm a junior, so this will be my junior prom. And that's all from me tonight. Thank you so much and have a great night.
Parth, before you sit down, I've got something for you, so stay right there. Are so pleased to have you here each and every board meeting, telling us what all of our students are working on. So we have a certificate to say thank you so much for being here, and we really appreciate it. I understand you're running again for next year, so
Thank you so much.
keep up the good work and good luck on those AP exams.
Thank you.
All right, congratulations. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'd just like to add, it's always such an honor to come to these board meetings and to report to you guys. That's why as Dr. Weil said, I am running again next year to be the Board of Ed representative because I truly enjoy coming to these meetings and seeing all of you here. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Okay, and now we'll move on to public comment number 1. I just have to read a little blurb first. The Board of Education encourages public participation at its meetings and recognizes its responsibility to hear public comment. An acknowledgement of the public comment, either orally or in writing, will be provided as appropriate after the meeting. As a matter of practice, the Board of Education does not engage in dialogue during the public comment period. There will be 2 opportunities at each regular board meeting for public comments to be heard. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes each. Although the Board of Education welcomes comments about programs offered by the district and other aspects of the district's operation, the board expressly prohibits public comment that would infringe on a particular person's or student's privacy rights, would be disruptive of the board meeting, or create some safety issue, such as those types of speech which are not protected by federal or state freedom of speech rights. Persons who desire to speak to the board about specific issues relating to employees or other confidential matters should request an executive session in a letter to the board president, briefly outlining the issues to be discussed. Granting such requests will be at the discretion of the Board of Education. And with that, I would like to ask W. Keith Kaiser to come to the mic. Parth, could you possibly help lower it, perhaps, if necessary? We could probably bring it to you, too.
Awesome. Yeah. My name is Keith Kaiser. My wife, Debbie Flaherty, and I have been Guilderland residents since 1993. Our son, my name is Keith Kaiser. And, yeah, can we pull that up just a tad? Yeah, you know, a chair is probably a much better idea. Yeah, that's a lot safer. What the heck? Thank you. Thank you. And then we can come here. Okay, awesome. Thank you very much. Okay, my name is Keith Kaiser. My wife, Debbie Flaherty, and I have been Guilderland residents since 1993. Both our son and daughter graduated from Guilderland High. Tonight, however, we face a sharply divided country, to which I offer this quote from Arthur M. Schlesinger, Jr. "The genius of America lies in its capacity to forge a single nation from peoples of remarkably diverse racial, religious, and ethnic origins." With this in mind, and hoping for us to form a more perfect union, I propose that you adopt the Lieutenant James Carton Flaherty Memorial Scholarship. We hope that the challenge of writing this essay will encourage and inspire future voters. First, let me introduce you to Lieutenant James Carton Flaherty, and second, let me detail how his life inspired Debbie. Lieutenant Flaherty was born in Milton, Massachusetts on July 29, 1929, and graduated from the United States Naval Academy in 1953. He married Barbara Palmer and then had multiple overseas deployments. Lieutenant Flaherty perished in a B-29 training mission on April 7, 1958. He left behind his wife Barbara and his 9-month-old daughter Debbie. Debbie was a blue baby at birth with an undefined heart disorder. Debbie survived and grew up with the dream of honoring her father by going to the United States Naval Academy. The Academy did not admit women until 1976, when Debbie was in her first year at Regis College. Debbie, realizing her dream, was accepted at the Academy pending a physical. The physical revealed that she had a rare congenital heart condition called Ebstein's anomaly, and her acceptance was rescinded. Her dream of attending the Naval Academy crushed. Debbie moved on, completing her degree at Regis and her master's at RPI. She joined AT&T and was selected to support AT&T at the 1984 Olympics. We met while commuting to Manhattan, married in 1986, and Debbie completed her MBA. In 1993, we moved to Guilderland. Debbie left AT&T to spend more time with our children and get her teaching degree from St. Rose. She started teaching at St. Madeleine Sophie School and volunteering with heart health organizations. In 2015, Debbie had open heart surgery, and in 2017, she published A Journey of the Heart, Learning to Thrive, Not Just Survive, with Congenital Heart Disease, chronicling her life. In 2023, Debbie was one of 8 women chosen by Representative Steck to be a 2023 Women of Distinction honoree. Lieutenant James Carton Flaherty, a patriot who died in our country's service, and an inspiration. Thank you.
Thank you. I learned a lot, actually. Thank you. In those 3 minutes, so thank you. Thank you, Parth. Next, we have Rosemary Harrigan.
Can you hear me? Okay, all right. My name is Rosemary Harrigan. I'm a retired secondary teacher living in Guilderland. There's a situation that's come up that I am uncertain how to handle as a member of the community. I work with 2 15-year-old Guilderland students, neighbors, and students and neighbors in my garden. We share many conversations about gardens and school. The 2 students shared information independently about an incident on Thursday, April 24th in homeroom. One student shared that the homeroom teacher that morning berated students for declining to participate in the Pledge of Allegiance. The teacher then told them that Trump was going to have them deported. She reported this to her mother, with whom I've been communicating. Another of my gardening assistants the same day explained that one of the students who did not participate in the Pledge of Allegiance in homeroom on Thursday went on to another class where a teacher there overheard the student's conversation about the incident in homeroom and chastised the student, saying that they should go report themselves to the principal and that they should be punished. The student handbook, as these two students made quickly clear to me, the student handbook makes clear that students do not have to participate in the pledge, but that they should tell the principal before they decline to participate. Many students were not aware of that requirement. It seems clear that neither students nor teachers understand the school's position on the pledge or the law that no one can be compelled to say the Pledge of Allegiance in this democracy. I suggest that perhaps a staff meeting with all teachers in the district and a letter to parents and students would clarify the district's position appropriate to, in the appropriate law. I would also suggest that you consult your attorney to review the school policy to be certain that the requirement that the student first report to the principal that their intention to decline participation in the pledge is consistent with current court decisions. Students generally are not comfortable going to the principal's office for any reason, and definitely not to go and report that they wish to refuse to participate in a district-wide requirement. As a retired teacher of 39 years, it seems like the requirement to go to the principal under these circumstances would have a chilling effect on a student's ability to exercise their freedom of speech. I believe that both teachers were out of line and that their responses to students in question should be construed as bullying, as well as imposing their own personal opinions upon students. I'm well aware, after so many years in education, that many teachers use sarcasm as a weapon, and they use it to try to control their students. I believe it was very inappropriate. Additionally, I've read about court cases, one in particular in 2006, a Florida case, Frazier versus Alexander. The district was ordered to pay a student and their family $32,500 for this because the student was ridiculed and called unpatriotic by a teacher. Am I hit my 3 minutes? I'm done. I just want to thank you for letting me exercise my right to talk to you in this manner. I think these are difficult times we're going through, and I really appreciate your willingness to hear me say my piece. Thank you.
And thank you for speaking. We do take your comments to heart. We're not able to comment on them, although we'd like to. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and next we have Jessica Peldon.
Good evening. My name is Jessica Peldon, and I'm a French teacher at Farnsworth Middle School. This is my third year teaching in the district, as I've taught here at the beginning of my career back in 2004, before I was tenured by Shenendehowa and taught French there for 12 years. I'm a veteran teacher with more than 20 years of experience teaching in both public and private schools, rural, urban, and suburban districts, and even internationally. I've experienced living and studying in France at the University of Paris. I've also lived in India, Tibet, and Sri Lanka. Not only am I a teacher, but I am also a writer, an entrepreneur, and a filmmaker. I've used my French skills in the workforce outside of teaching as a French-speaking representative for Burton Snowboards. And last but not least, I'm a proud mother of 3. The eldest working towards a master's in library science, followed by another working on a degree in computer science and society, and the youngest a student athlete at Albany High. My children speak French and Tibetan and have accompanied me on trips and living outside the country. I have also led exchange programs and trips to France with my students while at Shenendehowa as a leader of the Peace Program there. When I accepted a probationary position to teach French at FMS in 2024, I was happy to return to the school community. I remembered many of my colleagues from 20 years ago and felt welcomed to return. Last year, my students excelled on their Checkpoint A World Language Exam, scoring an average of 94.5%, with the lowest score of 85%. In all my years teaching, I've never had a student fail the New York State French exam. My APPR scores show a final rating of highly effective. I'm an excellent teacher, and students excel in my class. I came here tonight to share you my passion for teaching. I don't just teach French language and culture, I also teach children. I teach children values, respect, kindness, empathy, DEI, human rights, and social justice as mandated by New York State in the World Language and Culture curriculum. I teach my students to speak up for what is just, and I empower them to use their voices. We learn how to listen to each other with respect and to voice our opinions. I seek to role model these values to my students whenever possible. Tonight, I am role modeling self-advocacy. I have honed my craft as a teacher in these past 20 years. I have cultivated an atmosphere of joy and ease in my classroom, where my students experience an organic love of learning. On any given day, you can hear laughter, music, cultural conversations that foster teachable moments. We sing, we dance, we act, we make art. You would be hard-pressed to find a student to ever call my class boring. My students are speaking, reading, writing, and understanding spoken French every time they enter my classroom. Many of them contact me later in life to tell me that they have studied and worked abroad or become a French teacher and thank me for inspiring them and opening their minds to the world of possibilities. Some contact me to say that I was the most influential teacher they ever had. My classroom is student-centered with creativity, love, justice, and liberation at the core. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, and I think that's all of our public comments. Okay. We will move on to the budget hearing, 2025-2026 budget hearing.
Thank you. Tonight, I want to provide an overview of the 2025-2026 school year budget, as well as other propositions and items that will be on the ballot in 2 weeks. Our ballot includes the budget proposition for the general fund, a school bus proposition, our Future Ready capital project, and the election of 4 school board members. Next year's budget is just under $127.6 million, which is a $2.354 million increase over this year's budget. That increase is 1.88%. Supporting this budget is a tax levy increase that's estimated at $1.8 million, or 2.22%. This proposed levy is in compliance with the tax cap, as I will talk about in a little more detail in a few moments, which means that it only requires a simple majority of voter support for approval. One of the ways we break budgets down in New York State is called a 3-part budget. This categorizes expenses by supporting our program, administrative costs, or capital expenses. Like most school districts in most years, approximately 3/4 of our budget goes to support program. For next year, it's an even 76%. Administrative costs, 11.2%, and capital costs at 12.8% make up the rest of the budget. Program expenses cover salaries and benefits for teachers, counselors, aides, all the support staff that help our students, professional development for our staff, various instructional services, technologies, transportation costs, our co-curricular activities, and our athletics. The percentage of the budget next year that is dedicated to program has increased slightly over this year, from 75.8% in the current year to 76% next year. Our administrative costs are increasing from 10.7% to 11.2%. This is the salaries and benefits for all of our administrators and related staff. Also, the district office operations, public information, printing information for sharing, all of our research and planning expenses, our tax collection, our legal services, and most of the costs related to supporting our school board. Finally, the capital part of the budget includes both the debt service on buildings from previous capital projects, as well as school bus purchases, tax surcharge payments, or the bonds we've issued to support them, as well as our operations and maintenance staff, including the salaries and benefits of all custodial and maintenance staff. The breakdown of the revenue that goes into next year's budget. We have a slight decrease in projected state aid. This is driven by two factors: a projected increase in foundation aid and a projected decrease in transportation aid. The rest of our revenues from local sources are generally pretty flat. We have more interfund transfers next year, but two things I want to highlight is that we've appropriated reserves for next year's budget, and we've appropriated fund balance for next year's budget. We also have a payment in lieu of taxes. This is a payment that comes from an agreement that an industrial development agency makes with a local property or properties that has them make a flat payment to school districts instead of having taxes assessed on a property. But as in most years, the majority of our budget comes from our tax levy. So $84.3 million is our projected levy to supporting next year's budget. When we put these in more broad terms, 2/3 of our budget's property taxes, just under 1/3 is state and federal aid. Another way of looking at expenditures is, rather than the three parts, is looking at other ways of categorization. We see that salaries and benefits are almost 80% of next year's budget. This is an increase over this current year's budget, and this has been generally a slight increase each year. We talked about the tax levy increase of 2.22%. That's compliant with the tax cap. The estimated tax rate increase is 1.7%. The difference between the two is from the tax-based growth factor that the state provides that estimates the amount of additional property that has been added to the rolls in the past year. I mentioned the tax cap. Every year we share it a few times because while it's a very complex formula, it is what drives 2/3 of our budget revenue, so we need to understand where our levy comes from. The state, when we were 10 years ago, the state implemented a law that sought to cap the increase in property taxes by limiting the allowable levy increase for a school district. This is the 2%, although for no district is it generally 2%, because there are certain expenses that are allowed to be excluded from the cap because they're outside of normal operating parameters. Generally, those are capital and debt service expenses. This is the formula that makes up our tax levy calculation, going down to the 2.22% increase. So we remove the adjusted expenses from this year, apply the growth factor, add in next year's allowable expenses that can be excluded, and that is how we come up at the 2.22% increase versus the 2% levy growth factor. The slide shows our most recent history of budget vote outcomes. Each of our budgets has been approved most frequently by 2/3 or more support of the community. For this current year, nearly 3/4 of the community voted in favor of the budget. If you look at the last two columns, our levy increase and our tax levy limit, the district has never proposed overriding the tax cap, or that is having a budget with a levy that goes beyond the allowable limit. We've had times in the past where we have been below the allowable levy limit, and we've had times like this year where we were at the tax cap. In New York State, in 2 weeks, if the budget is not approved by voters, we then have the opportunity to hold a second vote. If the second vote is also unsuccessful, then the district is forced to adopt a contingency budget. A contingency budget does two things. One, it caps the growth, it caps the levy at the current year's amount, so we cannot increase the levy. And then it freezes or limits certain administrative expenses. So for next year, if our budget is defeated in 2 weeks and the budget revote is unsuccessful in June, we would have to reduce about $1.8 million from our current proposal in order to comply with the contingency rules. In addition to the budget proposition, we have a school bus proposition on the ballot. Our proposal for next year is purchasing 5 electric buses and 1 utility dump truck. The lion's share, the largest portion of the amount here is for the electric buses, but because of state incentives and the way that transportation aid is calculated, there would be no net cost to taxpayers for these 5 buses. Now, this would be the last year of the last buses we would be able to purchase under the current incentive, so unless new incentives are introduced, any future electric buses or zero-emission buses that the district made would be at full cost. And as you see, 5 full-size buses are just over $1.2 million. The state still currently has on the books a mandate that as of July 1st, 2027, all school buses that are all vehicles that are purchased for pupil transportation must be zero-emission. And by 2035, all vehicles that are used for pupil transportation must be zero emission. So there's an 8-year window to turn over fleets. We have begun the process. Last year's budget, we've bought the voters approved buying 2 electric buses, a full size and a small bus. Those are both currently on routes for the district. And then next year we have the proposal for 5 buses. Glad we're in here. Sorry. That sounds like torrential rain outside. In addition to the budget and the vehicle proposition, we have a capital project on the ballot for vote in 2 weeks. This comes out of the Future Ready Task Force the district convened at the start of the year. The Future Ready Task Force sought to identify what are the criteria that the district needs in order to have future-ready instruction for our students. And then the work of this task force was transitioned to our facilities committee, which spent a lot of time looking at previous capital projects, our building condition survey and infrastructural needs, and the guidelines from the Future Ready Task Force to put forward a capital project that tries to update classrooms to be future-ready, creates needed specialized instructional spaces, further investments in instructional technology like Promethean boards in all of our classrooms that don't have them, further expanding our efforts for safe and secure schools, and then, again, needed site work and infrastructure in all of our buildings. The total project cost for the capital project is $57,259,705. This comes with an estimated tax impact of 2.74%. We have a 70.4% building age ratio, so the state would contribute 70 cents for every dollar of eligible expenses we have in the project, and the projection is that 75% of expenses would be eligible for this aid. For the average assessment in the town of Guilderland, which is a little over $283,000, the estimated annual tax impact would be just under $150. We have much more detail about the capital project on our website if you were looking for additional information. Finally, we have 4 seats on the ballot for the school board, and we have 4 candidates who will be listed on the ballot. 3 of these seats are 3-year terms or full terms, so they would be expiring June 30th, 2028. And then 1 term is a one-year term that would expire June 30th, 2026. The candidates, the three highest candidates in terms of votes would take the 3-year terms, and the fourth highest vote total would take the 1-year term. The candidates are listed here in the order they would appear on the ballot. Finally, in summary, we have the 4 school district-related propositions on the ballot: our budget, the vehicle purchase, the capital project, the Board of Election seats. On the ballot, there's also the library's budget and the library's board seats, so those will be on the ballot. For more information about what I talked about tonight and more details, please visit our website, click on School Budget News, and there is much more information. Questions, comments?
Thank you, Andrew. And next, we'll move on to our consent items. Can I get a motion to approve consent items A through H, which includes the CPSE recommendations and the minutes? Kim, second Gloria. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Passes 8-0. And then we have, is it Rachel?
Good evening. I have a few things for you. I'll start with a textbook review. We have a digital textbook that's titled Accessible Economics by Evensky and Martin for use in 12th grade economics class. There is attached to the agenda the textbook review form, and I can get you the access link at request if anyone would like to look it over. I'll be bringing that forward for approval in 2 meetings. And some accolades. First is TED Ed Student Talks. Last summer, Heather Tagliaferro, who is a teacher at FMS, applied for the TED Ed Student Talk program on behalf of herself and her co-teachers in her department, Jamie Mullins and Joe Winchester. Ms. Tagliaferro was recently notified that her application to the program has been accepted. And the TED Ed Student Talks program is an initiative that empowers students to develop and share their ideas worth spreading through short TED-style talks. It provides a framework for them to explore their passions and learn how to communicate effectively. This program allows us to have access to a wealth of free, customizable materials and includes an educator guidebook, student idea journals, legal forms, tips for hosting events, and branding guidelines for creating related materials. Beyond the resources, the program also allows the team to sign up for support calls with the TED Ed team and connect with other educators around the world who are running similar programs. The program offers a great opportunity to foster critical thinking, research skills, and public speaking confidence for students, all while giving them a meaningful platform to share their unique perspectives. The teachers are particularly excited because for the past 5 years, the team has independently designed and run a similar TED Talk project for their students, drawing on their own experiences and inspiration from Carmine Gallo's Talk Like TED. This new partnership with the official TED Ed Student Talk program will provide the team with even richer resources and a broader framework to enhance the existing project. It represents a fantastic opportunity to elevate the work the team has already been doing and provides a more impactful platform for students to develop their voices and share their ideas with a wider audience. And I will say, if you get an invitation, which I'll make sure you do get, to go see the TED Talks this spring at the middle school, they are fantastic. So the students do a really wonderful job. We also have some art accolades. Several GHS art students' artwork was selected for the 2025 Media Arts Festival, which was held at Niskayuna High School. The Media Arts Juried Festival showcased outstanding films, animations, digital art, graphic design, and other media from the Capital Region. Our students received the following recognitions: Honorable Mention in Film, Violet Ayers. Outstanding Film, Narrative Comedy, Liam Hanslick and Riley Better. Outstanding Film, Action Mystery Horror, Riley Better. Honorable Mention, Stop Action, Ian Dunn. Honorable Mention, Stop Action, Rosie Glass. Outstanding Cinematography, Liam Hanslick and Riley Better. And first place, visual identity, Kaylin Doorley. We also have a math accolade. Kaylee Chen, who is a Guilderland High School calculus student, entered her digital poster on mathematician Euphemia Lofton Haynes in the Center for Education in Mathematics and Computing Mathematician Mosaic Project. The project had over 80 submissions from schools worldwide, and Kaylee's poster was one of only 18 highlighted in the project this year. And there is a link to the poster site, or the Mosaic site, and you can see all of the work of those fine students from different countries all over the world. An accolade from our Junior Achievement Stock Market Challenge. Students from Guilderland High School's Investing in Your Future Club showcased their financial savvy at the Junior Achievement Stock Market Challenge held at the Broadview Center on the University at Albany campus. 12 Guilderland students competed against over 400 students from a dozen area high schools in a high-energy, real-time investment simulation. The event simulated the excitement and pressure of a live trading floor, giving students the opportunity to experience the ups and downs of investing in a fast-paced, team-based competition. Through preparation and hands-on participation, students deepened their understanding of the stock market, including the risks and rewards of trading, the importance of managing risk, and the value of long-term investments. All 3 Guilderland teams placed in the top 50% of competitors, with 2 of the teams finishing in the top third. Each team achieved impressive results, earning over 15% returns on their portfolios during the simulation. And there are a number of pictures attached to the agenda as well.
Great, thank you. And superintendent information?
All right, thank you. My first item is to let everyone know about our achievement ceremony that will be held on Tuesday, May 13th. At this event, 27 retirees and 36 staff members who have received tenure are invited to a celebration in the high school auditorium, where they will be recognized by their building principals, instructional administrators, and supervisors. And I'll just point out that 36 tenurees is a record. It's a huge number, and we're so proud of everyone. A reception will begin at 5 p.m. The program is set to start at 6 p.m., and I'd like to congratulate in advance each and every one of them. And then tomorrow is National School Nurse Day, May 7th, 2025. Since 1972, National Nurse Day has been set aside to recognize school nurses. National School Nurse Day was established to foster a better understanding of the role of school nurses in the educational setting. School Nurse Day is celebrated on the Wednesday within National Nurses Week, which is this week. We want to extend an extra special thank you to all of our school nurses in all of our buildings who daily go above and beyond to keep everyone here, our students and our staff, healthy and safe at school. So a big thank you to our school nurses. And also getting some well-deserved appreciation, this is National Teacher Appreciation Week, May 5th through the 9th. National Teacher Appreciation Week takes place during this week. It is set aside to honor teachers and recognize the lasting contributions they make to the lives of children. We'd like to thank our teachers for their hard work, their commitment to our students, not just this week, but each and every day throughout the school year. And we really do appreciate everything they do to make this such a special place. And then lastly, some thoughts for the board to think about their dates for meetings for next year. So we have the proposed 2025-26 Board of Education meeting dates for next year. They are presented for review, and we will bring them back to the board for adoption at the July 1st board meeting. So please take a look, and if there needs to be any adjustments, we can do it ahead of time. And that's my report.
Is it okay to ask one question?
Of course.
I just would propose not having our first board meeting on the week of July 4th. But I realize this comes up as a challenge every year.
Was there a reason that it had to be early in July as opposed to late in July?
It has to happen before July 15th by law.
I agree that week is a challenge.
Can we move it to July 8th? First meeting?
I think that sounds better. Well, wait. If people leave for July 4th weekend, will they be back by that Tuesday? What about the 15th itself? Is it on or before, or is it?
15th would be fine. It has to
Okay.
be by the 15th.
What are our thoughts on the 15th? Well, we don't have to vote till next time, but.
Yeah.
Yes. Consult calendars,
Yep.
give it some thought.
Okay. Thank you. Anything else? No? Okay. Board President information. The NYSBA reference date. So information was recently emailed by NYSBA to each board member regarding submitting resolutions and proposed bylaw amendments for consideration by the voting delegates at the annual business meeting in the fall. This annual process sets NYSBA's advocacy efforts through the proposal of new positions and the continuation of discontinuation of those set to expire. Only boards of education that are members of NYSBA and NYSBA's board of directors may submit resolutions for consideration. Proposed resolutions, once adopted, may direct NYSBA to advocate either for or against a wide variety of legislative and regulatory issues at both the state and federal levels. Key dates in 2025, July 18th, proposed bylaw amendment and resolution deadline. August 14th, voting delegate registration opens. August 19th, committee review. September 8th, distribution of proposed bylaw amendments and resolution book. September 19th, amendments, rebuttals, endorsements. And I'm just going to skip ahead. You'll see the other ones there. The big one is the meeting itself, and that'll be October 16th. And it's virtual, and then we have the convention October 23rd through 25th. We have a resolution kit. We have submitted a resolution in the past, thanks to Rebecca, right? Didn't you?
I don't think I can take full credit for that. I think it was a
Felt
joint
like you
effort.
spearheaded it, but if there are ideas for resolutions, please bring them forth, and we can work together using the kit. And next, we have the Board of Education policy review. The following policies, exhibit, and regulations are presented for information and discussion. These documents were discussed at a recent Board of Education Policy Review Committee meeting and are being presented for a first read this evening. So we have, what do we have? Policy 0111. It's the sex discrimination and sex-based harassment under Title 9, and there seem to be 3 associated with sexual harassment.
Well, the first one is
Extreme
rescinding.
Okay.
0111R is rescinding a previous version of this. Rules changed. So now we have revised our policy to reflect new rules. So you have the taking away of the old and bringing in the new along with the exhibit that goes along with it, which is the definitions.
Thank you. I was wondering why there were 3. And then the extreme heat condition days, that's new. That'll be interesting. And the ex officio student member of the board information. I've been looking forward to this. Going to get an update on that at all? Or?
Well, I would like to point out that the expectation is that we would select a student to serve as the ex officio before the school year ends. The committee met and worked from the model policy from the School Boards Association and proposed that we use a process similar to the one we use to select students for our DEI committee. So a couple weeks back, I drafted a letter, was hoping for some feedback, because if everyone is comfortable with that, I would like to circulate that letter among students and start gathering them so that we could appoint shortly after adopting the policy and at least know who the students would be before everyone leaves for the summer.
So it would be similar to our DEI?
Very much, it's
the same thing?
very much the same.
Is everyone okay with it?
Yeah.
Great. Okay, and I think we're back to you, Andrew.
Thank you. I have several items for your consideration. The first is the Lieutenant James Curtin Flaherty Memorial Award that Mr. Kaiser spoke about today. This award would be for students who write an essay answering the question, why should the United States of America remain a democracy? There are various criteria for the essay, and the initial award would be $500.
Okay, motion to approve. Katie, second Meredith. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Passes 8-0.
Thank you for your generosity.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
My next item are health and welfare services with school districts for our resident children who attend a private school within the those districts' boundaries.
Okay, motion to approve. Nina, second. Rebecca, any questions or comments? All those in favor? Passes 8-0.
Thank you. My next item is a refund of real property taxes based on a new assessment ruling from a hearing.
Okay, motion to approve. Tara, second. Nina, any questions or comments? All those in favor? 8-0.
Thank you. My next item are two service agreements, one with CDB Connections and one with LearnWell. These are both for services for our students.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve? Gloria, second. Katie, any questions or comments? All those in favor?
This might be very minimal, but the outline has CBD and the contract is with CDB.
Oh.
And I don't want there to be any confusion.
If you look, the outline actually has both. So the PDF looks to be misnamed, but the outline is correct.
Okay.
But that's a good catch.
Yeah.
All those in favor? 8-0.
Thank you. My next item is a general fund transfer to cover student software.
Okay, can I get a motion? Meredith, second. Nina, any questions or comments? All those in favor? 8-0.
My next item is a UPK contract with TSL Adventure LLC.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the agreement with TSL Adventures? Nina, second. Rebecca, any questions or comments? All those in favor? 8-0.
Thank you. My final item are donations, which include 2 used sewing machines from Susanna and Jacob Harden, a monetary donation from the Altamont PTA for an author visit, and various gift cards from donors for the high school career and trades fair.
Great, can I get a motion to approve or accept the donations? Tara, second. Kim, any questions or comments? All those in favor? 8-0. Okay, superintendent action items.
Thank you. My first item is a request for the formation of 2 new co-curricular clubs. They are both based out of the high school. The first is called Speak X Club, advised by Mr. Christopher Missoura. And the second is a Guilderland Motorsport Club, advised by Mr. Jacob Ford.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the requests for co-curricular clubs? Gloria, second. Katie, any questions or comments? All those in favor? Passes 8-0.
Okay, thank you. My next item is a request for approval of an application for a grant. And it reads, resolved that the Board of Education of the Guilderland Central School District authorizes Catherine Richetti, a licensed clinical social worker, to apply for a therapy dog training grant. Ms. Richetti and Ms. Deb Parado will be applying for the grant through the CHB Foundation's Charlotte Litter Grant Program. The CHB Foundation was started by Joanne Bacon, parent of Charlotte Bacon, a first grader who lost her life in the Sandy Hook tragedy. CHB funds dog training for dogs with basic obedience, so they have to come in with some of their skills. The request will be for $8,000 and will be submitted by Ms. Richetti and Ms. Parado. The application is due on July 31st, with the awards given in September.
Motion to approve the application for the grant. Meredith, second. Nina, any questions or comments? All those in favor?
I would like to comment. If they need someone to look over their grant, I'll do that.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, that's great. Thank you. Passes 8-0.
And my last item is a memorandum of agreement. Be it resolved that the Board of Education authorizes the superintendent of schools to execute the proposed memorandum of agreement between the Guilderland Central School District and the Guilderland Principals Association.
Okay, motion to authorize Marie to move forward. Rebecca, second Tara. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? 8-0. Okay, moving on to board president action. It's the appointment of election workers for May 20th, 2025, the budget vote and elections. Be it resolved that the Board of Education approves the appointment of the following individuals as election workers for the May 20th, 2025 budget vote and elections. And you'll see the list there. Can I get a motion to approve? Where did I leave off? Kim, second Gloria. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? 8-0. Resolution to canvass affidavit ballots for May 20th, 2025. Budget vote and elections. Resolve the Board of Ed of the Gilderland Central School District will designate May 21st, 2025 at 2 p.m. for the canvassing of affidavit ballots at the district administrative offices. Further, that the following individuals be designated as the Central Board of Inspectors to cast and canvass the affidavit ballots. Neil Sanders, Linda Livingston, and Kimberly Tenike. Can I get a motion? Katie, second Meredith. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? 8-0. Board of Education policy adoption. This was submitted at the last board meeting, and it is the student and personal electronic devices policy. I'm not going to go in order for this one. So who would like to make a motion? Ina, second Rebecca. Any questions or comments?
Before you vote, I just think it's timely that today the governor hosted a press conference at the NYSET offices to talk about the legislation that is coming forward with the bell-to-bell restriction and the creating of distraction-free environments. And the highlight of this press conference was our own 8th grade student, Anika Bupati, who for the second time in her young life has been on the same stage as the governor, which is just really remarkable, and she was outstanding. It was a very proud moment for us, and Katie DePiro was also there on the stage with the governor, and Tara was there, and it was a very, very nice event. And so it was wonderful for us to be a part of it and to be able to highlight the good work of our middle school. So thank you to Mr. Laster as well.
So we have the motion and the second. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Okay, sorry. All those opposed? Okay. All those abstaining? So it passes 6 with 1 abstention, me, and 1 opposed. Okay, where are we now? Hold on, 1 second, guys.
Committee reports.
Committee reports. Can we start with audit, please?
We have an audit committee meeting scheduled for May 27th.
Okay, business practices?
We haven't had a meeting. We don't have one scheduled.
Okay, communications?
Sure. I am bringing to the board the Board of Education GHS Heroes Award for next school year. We are looking at the award would be from the Board of Education given to a Guilderland High School students who have demonstrated exceptional acts of kindness, often highlighting positive behavior and promoting a culture of compassion within the school community. The award is looking for students who provide positive contributions to the school community, often behind the scenes. The recipients would be nominated by their teachers and will have demonstrated exceptional acts of kindness and made significant positive contributions and are in good standing within the school. Also, we are asking the community to be on the watch for the community budget newsletter. showing what is in our budget, what we reviewed tonight, but also what's in our capital projects. And there'll be family updates that will be arriving to homes soon, and to watch for videos that are out showing the incredible work within our district. And we have agreed to do exit surveys again to take feedback on the process from the community. Thank you.
Thank you. I do have one question. So that's the new Board of Education award.
Correct.
And so does that mean we're not going to do the grade point average? This is in place of it?
We are
Or is it a whole new one?
This will be the new one, and with this year we'll be keeping with the format of the past, and this would replace that moving forward.
And do we vote on this or
Next time.
Next time,
Next
right?
time,
Next time.
yes.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you. And DEI?
What do we, oh, we talked about the Melissa Hale Spencer's opinion. Was it an opinion piece? What did you write?
It was an editorial.
Yeah, yeah.
Marie, would you like to fill everybody in?
Sure. So the last DEI meeting, first of all, we reviewed and talked about the very successful cultural fair that was hosted at the high school right before the April break. Lots of new processes were put in place to really engage students in that work. So we had some debrief of that work. And we talked about membership on the committee. We will need to select our new members soon. We appoint them at the June meeting, so that the June board meeting, so they can attend the last June meeting of the DEI committee. So that's in the works. And then our learning component on the last meeting was, the basis of it was the recent editorial that Melissa Hale Spencer wrote, reflecting on the role of art and perspective in our community. And the intent of the conversation was really to look at different perspectives and And I wasn't prepared to talk about all of it, so my memory is not, as you all know, my memory is not what it used to be. But we did have a very lively conversation about our musical selections, and I know that the process is already underway to make sure we have additional sets of eyes on the programs or the pieces that we select, to make sure that they are sensitive to the matters around DEI, and making sure we're not stereotyping or in any way making our community feel as if we are not respectful of their perspectives. So I've seen emails about that process just today, to make sure that our DEI leaders are looking at that. So that's what I recall.
Yeah, me too. That's about it.
Perfect. Thank you both. Any comments? Not yet? Okay, policy.
So we voted on the issues that we talked about at our last meeting. We are meeting next week, I think. Yep, May 14th. But the issues that we already voted on tonight, we talked about at length.
Great. Any other public comments? Linda. Board issues, ideas, and sharing.
Oh, go ahead.
You go.
I was just going to say, it was suggested to me by a couple students as we were talking about, or I shouldn't say we, I was standing in the room. So they were talking about Dutchman of the Week, and it was highly suggested that we maybe look into something similar for our music students, because they have been doing amazing things, and especially after NISMA, things like that. It was just brought up that maybe we want to look at our instrumental, well, I shouldn't, our music students as well, and do something like that, not just for our athletes.
That's great. Yeah. Thanks, Kim. Rebecca?
I have two positive things. So I heard incidentally this week from a patient of a high schooler who has autism, whose child is a member of the Bethlehem Unified basketball team. And apparently Bethlehem and Guilderland's Unified basketball team had a game on April 25th. And this mother was really glowing with her praise towards our Guilderland athletes and their engagement with her child who really struggles with his socialization. And she told me that it was one of the first times that her child really felt included in a traditional high school social event. So I really wanted to thank our students for being such amazing ambassadors for inclusivity. So that was my first positive thing. My second positive thing was last Tuesday, about a dozen students from GHS's chapter of March for Our Lives joined Everytown for Gun Safety and met with Capital District state legislators in Albany advocating for comprehensive gun safety laws. Students not only visited the offices of legislators, but also actively facilitated legislative meetings, and I'm really proud and inspired by their advocacy. So,
Thank you. Anyone else?
I just want to add that I also heard about the unified basketball game and how amazing our students were with Bethlehem. And so it's really in the community, and that's a great thing to get out there. So I'd also heard the same thing. I just want to add another praise to our teachers. Once again, I know Dr. Wiles commented on it, but for National Teacher Appreciation Week, I think it's important to also reiterate that again, and our school nurses as well. So just to reiterate those points.
Yes, thank you. Back to the point or what you shared about our unified team, I think it's important for the community to know just how many of our students actually want to participate, and there's like a waiting list. So my own daughter, because she's an underclassman, and you know, the older kids get you know, selected because they only have 2 years left. She's on that waiting list and like really looking forward to it. But I think that really speaks to our community of students that they want to participate in that. Yeah. So I think that's wonderful. And then I wanted to just put in a plug for our inaugural flag football team, who is working really, really hard every day. They unfortunately, they have a game when it's supposed to rain and be super cold on Friday, but it is nonetheless family night, and it is their last home game. So if anyone would like to come out and support them, you don't have to pay for tickets. Just come in and support our girls and our first ever flag football team. That's it. Thank you. Oh, Gloria.
I just have one thing, because I know there's only one more meeting of this group. Sixth grade teacher Lisa Watson at the middle school took over this club that we do at the middle school, and the kids come. They volunteer their time to come down to a soup kitchen in downtown Albany on the fourth Tuesday of every month throughout the year. And I'd just like to thank her and all the kids. They come from all the grade levels that have put in the time and effort to come down and help us out. We really appreciate their efforts all year. And it's been many years they've been doing this, so. But I'd like to thank the ones that came this year.
Thank you. Oh, I don't need anything else. Okay. All right. Well, then I'm going to move on to some very important business. We would like to thank, the Board of Education would like to thank Linda Livingston. Today is Linda's last meeting, and so we would like to present you with a small gift. And thank you for your many years of service, Linda. Thank you.
Linda, I'd like to say that you are my go-to person. For all these years, you know, you were the one, you're on speed dial. When I had a question or needed something, you were there, always there, and I appreciate it very much. Best of luck in your retirement.
It's true. You know, I ran during the pandemic, and so it was very cumbersome to get information, but you really answered all my questions in a timely fashion. You took the trouble to mail me enormous boxes of information to my home, and you made me feel really welcome, which I really appreciated. So thank you so much. Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn? Meredith, second Nina. All those in favor? Oh, adjourn to executive session. Okay, 8-0.